Okay, I'm going to go over the skills, factoring trinomials. A is greater than 1, level 1 and level 2. In all honesty, they're not really a whole lot different. So let's pick on level 1. Let's see what this is all about. You may have learned these in many different ways, but when you have a leading coefficient there, you may have heard of the AC method before. All right, so what that is you're going to take that first number and you're going to multiply it by the last number. So 3 times 35. And you get 105. So AC would be 3 times 35 equals 105. And then you got to think, all right, what two numbers multiply to 105 and add to the middle number, 26? Now, that's not necessarily the easiest thing to do. So let's see, 3 times 105, you can kind of double check this. What happens if I divide that by, let's say, 5? I get 21. And all right, does 5 and 21 add to 26? And of course they do. You can double check that. So 26 does get from 5 plus 21. So you have 5 and you have 21. So what you do is you split this up into 5x plus 21x. And then you bring down the 35 and you bring down the 3x squared. Now this looks like I just made it more complicated, but in actuality what we do is we do GCFs. So you look at the 3x squared plus 5x, you can pull out an x from both of those. So if you kind of split that up in the middle, you get 3x squared. You can take out a GCF, and you're left with 3x plus 5. Over here, you can take out a number that goes both in the 21 and 35, ends up being 7. And when you do that, 21 divided by 7 is 3, so you have 3x. 5 divided by 7 is 5. So if you rewrite your factors, 3x plus 5 is one of them. The other factor is going to be x plus 7. So your final answer would be x plus 7 and 3x plus 5. And if you multiply those together, you get 3x to the second power plus 5x plus 21x plus 35. And combining those, you get 26x. So that does get you back to your original expression. So your answer would be x plus 7 and 3x plus 5. Write this all down or take a screenshot because I'm going to clear this off and I'm going to show you how you can use Desmos to get those as well. All right, so how can we use Desmos to get that? Well, like before, we want to put the original expression into your graph. So 3x squared plus 26x plus 35. You're going to click your zeros. And sometimes your zeros are decimals, sometimes they're not. So I always start with the ones that aren't. Negative 7 is going to give you a factor x plus 7. So you have a couple options here. You can take this number, negative 1.6. If you see the pattern, Desmos always rounds your decimals, but that's really going to be 0.66666666 repeating. So if you type negative 1.667, that's not your answer. If you type 3 6s, that's not your answer. Now look what happens when I throw in enough 6s where that fraction goes away. Take a look here. See how that fraction's in there? If I throw a few more, it's saying, all right, I see what you're doing. You're making this a repeating decimal, which it is. And then once you get to a certain amount of those, it recognizes that as a repeating decimal, and it'll pull that up again. Click it after that. That fraction is -5/3. So that expression would be, remember the bottom number goes with the x, so 3x, change that sign, plus 5. You could also think about it like this. What times x is going to get you 3x squared? 3x. What times 7 is going to get you 35 plus 5? You see how that works? And those two are the same. Oops. As you can see, it's easy to type in the wrong number. Make sure you do plus 5. And it goes through their process too, just to make sure that you're getting the right factors. You can read through the example. Let's do another one. Let's do one of the level 2 ones. Make sure you do 5 of these and 5 of these. All right, 2x squared plus 11x plus 9. I'm not going to bother with the AC method. I'm going to look at my zeros. All right, I have two easy zeros to work with. -4.5 is that doesn't repeat, so -4.5, that's 9 divided by 2, -9 divided by 2. -1 is, well, that's not a decimal, so I don't have to worry about that. Let's focus on the -9 divided by 2. So that factor is going to be 2x plus 9. 2x plus 9. The -1, that's going to be x plus 1. And these overlap. So those are your two factors. Pretty cool. Let's do another one. This will be the last one I do. All right, 5x squared plus 4x minus 9. Okay, -1.8 and 1. So I know one of my factors with the 1, that's just going to be x minus 1. The -1.8, I'm going to have to convert to a fraction. So that's -9/5. So that's going to be 5x plus 9. And I'll put that next to the x minus 1. And those two are equivalent. So x minus 1 and 5x plus 9. And we'll submit our answer. All right, all right. I think that's enough of that skill.